Hello, you guys. So today I'm going to make this is a psychic video, a metaphysical video. So if stuff like that scares you, if you don't like that, go ahead and click on by. And so for those of you who are interested, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about clairaudience and also how I tend to get information from the other side, how they communicate to me as far as, psychic pictures or images or words and stuff. And every psychic gets their information differently. In one of my earlier videos, I explained the different ways that people can get psychic information, either clairvoyantly through their vision, clairaudiently through their hearing, and clairsentiently, etc. So I can link that video at the bottom if you want to go over those different ways. And so this video, however, is just to talk about how I sometimes get information, and in the hopes that maybe some of you will might recognize a couple of things in this video and say, hey, that's happened to me once. I wonder what that was. I know that a lot of you think that you're not psychic, but you are. And so maybe this video will help a little bit towards that, to kind of help you identify what your gifts might be. So this morning when I got up, I had a song in my head, and it was very strange to me because it's not a song that I would like, have in my head. And this happens to me quite often since I was little. And the funny thing is, every time it happens, I never think that it's spirit talking to me. I always think it's just, I just have a song in my head. You would think that after all these many, many years, and after the hundreds and thousands of times this has happened to me, you would think that when it happens, I would go, oh, that's that thing again. But I don't. I don't. So anyway, I got up this morning, me and my husband get up, and I have the song in my head, and it's literally started playing since my eyes opened from waking up. Like I woke up, my eyes opened, and the song starts playing in my head. And I'm not paying attention to it. I'm just talking to my husband, good morning and all this stuff, and we're talking, and we're looking at our iPhones, and we're reading the news, and we're just and I'm petting the dog and stuff. Meanwhile, while I'm doing all this, the song, just one or two sentences keeps playing in my head, and I'm hearing the vocal part, and I'm hearing the instrumental part, and I'm hearing the words, and the whole nine. Okay. And it's not like I'm hearing it as if a band were playing right next to me, or if the radio were playing right next to me. I'm not hearing it out here, like with my physical ears, like right here, as if it's happening outside of me. I'm hearing it sort of like, it's kind of like a place where your imagination is. Like if you imagine, a house with an apple tree in the front yard, that place where you're imagining, that's kind of where I hear the music. Okay, I hear it. I can tell what song it is. So, and it catches me off guard, right? Because I'm doing something else, and then here comes the song. You guys know because I know you guys, everyone experiences this. It's called, some people call it an earworm, meaning it's a repetitive song that you get in your head. Now, with me, music, I often call music like, music saved me, in my opinion. Music saved me from going completely insane with all the darkness that was around me when I was a child. And so I turned to music as a way to escape all that was going on around me. And my dad was in a band, and so he often played music, and my mom played music too, so it was natural for me to gravitate towards music as something that soothed my soul when I had anxiety or when I was experiencing the things that I experienced when I was little. So I've come to learn that that is why Spirit uses music to communicate to me, because music is such an intrinsic part of my existence, my very being, that it makes sense they would use music to communicate to me. If I think about it like that, it makes perfect sense. So anyway, to make a long story short, so I'm hearing the song, and it's driving me nuts, right? And meanwhile, me and my husband are reading about the rains and the flooding going on in the Carolinas and Virginia in the United States. They're having quite a bad hurricane and a lot of flooding, and there's been loss of life there as well. Now, something to know about me psychically: whenever there is a catastrophic event in the world, for some reason I dream about it a couple of nights beforehand. And now this doesn't happen every time, okay? But it's happened more times than I can count, okay? And you guys know that, just to backtrack a little bit, you guys know that I see a psychiatrist because I have PTSD. And I talk to my psychiatrist about these dreams that I have. Okay, so I figure since I'm there seeing her, I might as well get everything out that has been bothering me or that has come up since the last time that I saw her, right? So I started talking to her about these dreams that I was having, and they were awful, and I didn't at all associate them with anything real that was going on in the world. At the time, I thought I was just having a nightmare, and I actually thought, like, they were really, to make a long story short, they were driving me insane. These dreams were really bothering me to the point where I kind of felt like if I had any more of these dreams, I swear to you, I'm going to have some kind of a nervous breakdown. I couldn't take it anymore. And so that's why I went to my psychiatrist and I told her about, and I said, I just can't. I can't dream about these things one more time. I just can't do it. Please help me in some way so that I can stop dreaming these dreams. And she's like, well, what are you dreaming? So I start telling her what I've been experiencing. And the thing about me is I never tell anybody until way after the fact. Okay? So I had been having these dreams for some years, okay? And it had gotten to the point where I was having these disaster scenario type dreams every night almost. And I would wake up so freaked out, like I would be shaking. My entire body would be shaking. I would be crying. I couldn't breathe. I felt like, it was just awful. And in the dreams, for instance, there were the earthquake dreams mostly, and I would see cars plundering, like just being swallowed up by the earth, and people in buildings, and you know what I mean? Like I would be walking around places in the world that were completely deserted, and all the buildings were still left up, but there were no people, and stuff like that. And it was very, very upsetting to me. And so my psychiatrist, surprised me, because this woman of science who went to school for 90,000 years to become a psychiatrist, a doctor, she said, it sounds like you might be having some sort of, what did she say? Disaster, like premonition type dreams. Because I noticed, because she writes down, when you go see a psychiatrist or your psychologist or any counselor, they always write down the key points that you're trying to communicate in the visit so that they can compare them to the other visits. In case they don't remember what happened 2 weeks ago, they can go back and say, oh yeah, you did dream about that. So that's why they write everything down. And so I guess what she was doing is when I would tell her about these dreams, she would note that, and she started noticing that world events were actually occurring around the times that I would claim to have these dreams. And so as she put it, it seems like it might be possible that some of these might be premonitory. And so I also have a psychologist that I see aside from my psychiatrist for my PTSD. And my psychologist is really the one they're both female. She was really the one to sort of make me believe that, wow, I'm having some kind of premonition dreams. Wow, the thought, it literally had never crossed my mind. Even though I've always had these experiences, the thought had never crossed my mind that these were real. So now here's the odd thing. When I left the doctor's office after telling her this, and I talked to my husband about it too, about the dreams. When I did that, when I told them about it, I literally didn't have another dream. That was literally the last time I had or the last time I remembered, let's put it that way, having a disaster scenario type dream. And I was so grateful, and I don't know how that works. I don't know how that happened. I figured that either my subconscious, I just needed to get it out, and then so I stopped dreaming about it because it was, I'd gotten it out to somebody, or spirit knew it upset me so much that they made it to where I don't remember my dreams. I still have them maybe, but I don't remember them. And so either way, I was grateful not to be experiencing those terrorizing nightmares night after night. And so we've already backtracked. Now we're going to the present day, to today. So me and my husband are lying in bed this morning. I'm hearing the song in my head, and we're looking at the flooding going on in North Carolina. And I start to go and look at these videos on the news sites, to see the flooding, and I'm seeing all these images from the news, different news media of, cars underwater, people trapped, people dying, and all this kind of stuff. And what I usually do when there's a disaster in the world somewhere is I just obsess about it. Like, I become so upset. I can feel it. I'm very, very, extremely empathic, okay? That's number one about me, is I'm empathic in the extreme. And I can feel various things whenever there is a disaster like this in the weather somewhere in the world. So I was starting to get a low-level anxiety about what was going on the East Coast. And so my husband was telling me, the things that he usually tells me, which I love. And he says, now, see, they're telling you just the most exciting parts, and some of them are the most negative parts of the storm, okay? And that's all you're seeing. You're not seeing the other things that are going on, okay? So remember that. So I said, okay. So then I decided to tell him, this song that was driving me nuts And so I said, there's a song that's driving me nuts, babe, in my head. And I don't know what song it is. Maybe you can help me. And so I said, I'm going to hum it for you or sing it for you. All I know is the words to 2 different sentences. So I start humming and singing it. And he goes, oh. He goes, and he goes on his iPhone and he plays it and he goes, is it this one? And I go, yeah. And so it was by Joe Walsh, and it's called Life. What is it called? It's a Life of Illusion or something like that. Life of Illusion. So anyway, I'm listening to the words, and the words are saying, because nature loves its little surprises, but life is full of disguises. The storm is just a wall of confusion. And something like, this is just an illusion. So those are the lines in the song that kept repeating over and over in my head. So I discovered with the lyrics, and I was listening to the lyrics, and I finally put 2 and 2 together. Spirit was trying to tell me this morning when I woke up, it was trying to tell me, hey, April, some stuff's going down on the East Coast that isn't very nice. And some people are dying. And it might get worse. And you usually feel these things rather strongly. And you tend to get into sort of an anxiety state about it. And don't read anything about it. Don't binge watch videos about it. And what's going on in the earth does look scary to you, but on the other side, what's going on is in all appropriateness with God. That's what I got. That's the message that I got. So basically, they were telling me some shit's going down on the East Coast. It's kind of gnarly. You usually freak about it. So we're just trying to tell you there's no need to freak about it. Trust us. We know it's scary, but the shit's happening for a reason, according to God. So that's how Spirit communicates to me. And that's how Spirit communicates to different people. It's like a puzzle piece or a mystery they have to sort of solve. So I just wanted to make this video and just talk about that and just talk about my experience. So that's about it. So thank you so much for watching me sit here and babble on. I appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon on the next video, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.